Walking along the Millennium axis will introduce you to Astana. It starts at the Khan Shatir shopping centre, the largest tent in the world. Wander past the I Love Astana sign and you'll find yourself on a boulevard surrounded by glass skyscrapers, mirrored statues and play parks. At the end, you will find the beer cans, as the locals call them, and the presidential palace. Dropped in the middle of the Millennium axis is the Bayterek, a white tower with a golden orb on top. At the top, you will find views of the whole city and along the axis, filtered through the gold windows of the orb. Go up a flight of stairs and there is a gold-plated hand laid on a pedestal. It's a cast of one of President Nazarbayev's, and you place your hand on it to make a wish. Burabay National Park is a beautiful region north of Astana. It is full of lakes and mountains to float on and explore. It's one of the most touristy parts of the country. When we were there, it was full of Kazakhs having a break from the city and Russians on holiday. There's plenty of activities, such as walks and climbs, horse riding, and visits to the healing spas nearby. You can even take your chances dancing in a local club until the early hours. Almaty is the old capital of Kazakhstan, and it was reduced to rubble by an earthquake in 1911. This means that when Kazakhstan became part of the USSR, the Soviets had a free hand in building whatever they wanted. Much of the old city is full of constructivist buildings in various states of repair, and statues to leaders and the Red Army. The most impressive of these might be the one in the Park of the 28 Guardsmen. Koktobé is one of the foothills of the mountains that surrounds Almaty. From one slope, you have a view over the whole city. From the other, you can wander over the green rolling hills, gently rising into towering peaks. There is a cable car to the top, where you can also find a Ferris wheel, fun park, and a bar. Don't try to climb the TV tower, it's closed. Koktobé is the perfect place for a picnic, and if you time your trip right, you'll catch the sun going down over Almaty. It's haram to compare Turkestan to Mecca, but apparently the people of Kazakhstan still do. The ancient city was built by Tamerlane to be one of the capitals of his empire. In the centre, he built the mausoleum of Khwaja Ahmed Yisawi, the Sufi mystic who brought Islam to Central Asia. Yisawi was also the first known poet to write in a Turkic language. The blue-domed mausoleum sits in the middle of well-tended gardens. There is also an underground mosque, a mausoleum to Tamerlane's granddaughter, and some Turkish baths to see. A little mosque sits in the hills about 1 hour from Turkestan. Ukshada is a place of pilgrimage for Kazakh Muslims, and you'll be very welcome there. Those that make the pilgrimage gather water from a well nearby that is able to tell you what is in your heart. You must drop a bucket into a hole in the rock and pull it up. You will discover whether it has caught any water or not, and if there is some, then you are a good person.
So also, молодец.
It's the best water I've ever tasted. Welcome to the yurt. Yurts appear to be bigger on the inside than they are on the outside, and the one we stayed in was pretty luxurious. Our own little tiny yurt. It was full of traditional Kazakh crafts and ornaments, and, despite being on the floor, our bed was probably more comfortable than any that we slept in the whole country. Do I look like a proper chieftain? It also weathered the thunderstorm overnight excellently. Our yurt was located at the bottom of Charyn Canyon, a few hundred kilometers from Almaty. As one Kazakh we met there said, "This is our Grand Canyon." It's not as big as the Grand Canyon, but it is stunningly beautiful. The sandstone of the 90-kilometre canyon has been weathered away into huge formations of arches and stacks, especially in the Valley of Castles. Reaching Lake Kaindy is difficult. The roads lack tarmac and are badly potholed. It is a long, hard drive. Because of this, it is definitely worth it. It is rare for people to make the trip, and so when you arrive, you'll almost certainly be by yourself to witness the submerged forest of ash trees. It is an unadulterated wilderness, created by an earthquake 100 years ago, the same that destroyed Almaty. And it is the most beautiful thing that we saw in Kazakhstan. So that's us for Kazakhstan. Give us a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and hit subscribe if you want to see more.
So this is Daisy. She's like, I don't know how much she's old, but she's living here for 2 days. Look how tiny she is. Oh, excuse me.